What if I told you that the story of the giant Goliath, giant slain by a young shepherd, is only the beginning of a much larger mystery? Hidden within the pages of the Bible are clues to a forgotten history, a story that uncovers who Goliath truly was, why he wasn't the only giant, and the shocking truth about his brothers. But there's one little-known fact buried in Scripture that most people have never heard. Detail that could change how you see this ancient tale forever. For example, one of Goliath's brothers wielded a weapon so massive that historians debate whether any ordinary human could have lifted it. This wasn't just an exaggeration or a symbol. Could this weapon be physical proof of something much stranger? A link to the mysterious Nephilim, a race described as part human and part divine? Stay with me, because by the end of this video, we'll uncover the truth about Goliath, his family, and the remnants of an ancient world so extraordinary, it's hard to imagine it once existed. But first, if you love exploring the mysteries of the Bible and unlocking the secrets of its stories, make sure to subscribe to this channel and turn on notifications. Together, we'll uncover the most fascinating truths hidden in Scripture. To understand Goliath, we have to go all the way back to the book of Genesis. Chapter 6 describes the Nephilim as the offspring of the sons of God and the daughters of men. These beings were described as mighty men of renown. But who were they really? Were they literal giants, mythological figures, or something far more extraordinary? The term sons of God has sparked centuries of debate. Many scholars believe it refers to fallen angels who defied God by intermingling with humans. These unions produced offspring that were not only physically enormous, but also spiritually corrupted. Ancient Jewish texts, such as the Book of Enoch, suggest that these fallen angels brought forbidden knowledge to mankind, knowledge of weapons, sorcery, and technology. This may explain why the Nephilim were considered a threat not only to humanity, but to the natural order itself. Genesis 6:5 describes the earth as being filled with corruption, leading to God's decision to flood the world and start anew. But here's where the mystery deepens. After the flood, the Bible references giants again. Numbers 13:33 reveals that the Israelites encountered the Anakim in the land of Canaan, described as descendants of the Nephilim. If the flood was meant to wipe out these beings, how did they survive? Some suggest that remnants of the Nephilim bloodline persisted through Noah's descendants. Others believe these beings were not entirely physical and may have returned through supernatural means. This brings us directly to Goliath and his brothers, who many believe were part of this same corrupted lineage. But the question remains, if giants truly existed, where is the evidence? Over the years, researchers and explorers have uncovered massive skeletal remains in regions like the Middle East and North America. While these findings are often dismissed or suppressed, they align with the biblical description of beings like Goliath. Could this be the proof we've been searching for? The story of David and Goliath is one of the most famous accounts in the Bible, found in 1 Samuel 17. Goliath, described as over 9 feet tall, was a champion of the Philistine army. His sheer size and strength made him invincible in the eyes of his enemies. Clad in bronze armor weighing 125 pounds and wielding a spear with an iron tip that alone weighed 15 pounds, Goliath was a one-man war machine. But Goliath's true terror wasn't just his size, it was his reputation. According to rabbinic tradition, Goliath was not an ordinary man, but a trained warrior since his youth. His family's lineage set him apart from other Philistines, as he and his brothers descended from a race of giants. Their ancestry gave them physical attributes that seemed almost superhuman, from their incredible size to their unparalleled strength. Here's something that's rarely discussed. Goliath's spear wasn't just a weapon. Descriptions of its construction suggest advanced metallurgy techniques that were rare in that era. Could this point to knowledge passed down from the Nephilim's angelic ancestors? This would explain why Goliath and his family were so feared, not just for their size, but for their superior weaponry and skills. And then there's the intriguing detail of David's preparation for battle. When he stepped forward to face Goliath, David chose 5 smooth stones from a nearby stream. Why 5? Many believe David wasn't just preparing to fight Goliath. He was ready to face all 5 giants from Goliath's family, should they choose to avenge their brother. This wasn't just a battle. It was the beginning of a spiritual war to eliminate the remnants of the Nephilim. While Goliath's story is well known, the Bible also tells us about his 4 brothers, who were equally formidable. In 2 Samuel 21-15-22, we learn that David's warriors confronted these giants in a series of battles. Each of these brothers had unique and terrifying traits. One brother, Ishbi-Benob, wielded a spear so large it was described as being like a weaver's beam. This suggests a weapon of extraordinary size and craftsmanship, further evidence of their Nephilim heritage. Another brother, described in 1 Chronicles 26, had 6 fingers on each hand and 6 toes on each foot. This genetic anomaly isn't just a curiosity, it's a recurring feature in legends of giants across cultures. From Native American folklore to ancient European myths, this detail strengthens the case that Goliath's family were not ordinary humans. But what makes this even more intriguing is the symbolism of these battles. The Israelites' victories over Goliath's brothers weren't just military triumphs. They were symbolic acts of eradicating the remnants of a corrupted lineage, a lineage that defied God's order and brought terror to humanity. Here's a chilling thought. Some ancient texts suggest that the Nephilim weren't just physically powerful. They may have retained knowledge or abilities passed down from their angelic ancestors. Could this explain their influence over entire nations and their ability to dominate on the battlefield? If true, their defeat at the hands of David's warriors represents more than a historical event. It's a spiritual victory over darkness. The story of Goliath and his brothers isn't just a tale of physical giants. It's a metaphor for the challenges we face in life. Giants in the Bible often represent fear, sin, and obstacles that seem insurmountable. Just as David faced Goliath with faith and a single stone, we are called to confront our own giants with courage and trust in God. There's an even deeper layer to this story. Many theologians believe Goliath's defeat foreshadows Christ's ultimate victory over sin and death. Just as David conquered the giant with a simple act of faith, Jesus triumphed over the grave with his sacrifice. This parallel reminds us that no matter how overwhelming our struggles seem, God's power is greater. And then there's the prophecy. In Matthew 24:37, Jesus says, "As it was in the days of Noah, so it will be at the coming of the Son of Man." This verse suggests that the corruption and chaos of Noah's time will resurface in the last days. If giants walked the earth before the flood, could their influence return in the end times? Some believe the rise of evil in the world today mirrors the conditions that led to the flood, and the Nephilim, or their spiritual descendants, could play a role in these prophetic events. This isn't just ancient history. The story of Goliath is a reminder that God's people are called to stand against forces of darkness, no matter how overwhelming they seem. With faith, even the mightiest giant can be defeated. So, what's the real story of Goliath and his brothers? These giants weren't just warriors. They were remnants of an ancient and mysterious world, tied to the Nephilim and their angelic ancestry. Their defeat wasn't just a military victory. It was a triumph of God's power over the forces of darkness. But this story isn't just about the past. It's a call to action for all of us. What giants are you facing in your life? Whether it's fear, doubt, or seemingly impossible challenges, the story of David and Goliath reminds us that with faith, Anything is possible. If you found this story as fascinating as I did, don't forget to subscribe and share this video with someone who needs to hear it. Together, we'll continue exploring the incredible truths of Scripture, one story at a time.